He was not.
Well, he was, and you're responsible. And if he wanted to go and get himself checked out, that's his prerogative. Mr. Osborne, you're suing for $5,000, sir. Why?
The hospital bills were $2,100.
Correct.
I was off work for 3 weeks, and I'm a percentage driver. I'm paid average about $820 a week.
Well, you have to show me something that indicates to me, sir, that you received medical treatment during the course of those 3 weeks, and the reason that you were out of work for 3 weeks was as a result of your injuries. Do you have medical records?
No, I don't. I didn't go see the doctor afterwards.
Well, that's unfortunate, sir. If I were out of work for 3 weeks, I would go see a doctor. You want to say anything?
Yes, I would, Your Honor. After leaving the hospital, Mr. Osborne walked to a nearby Pizza Hut to smoke a cigarette and drink a pop.
Did you do that, Mr. Osborne?
Yes, I did.
With a collapsed lung?
I didn't walk like I was jogging the 500, but I made it over there.
I mean, what you're telling me, with a collapsed lung, you went over, you had a drink and a cigarette.
I tried to have the cigarette. I had the drive.
All right. Mr. Lacey, you are responsible minimally for his medical bills. Do you understand this?
Yes, ma'am.
Otherwise was an accident, and I don't think there was anything irresponsible other than the fact that perhaps you were drinking a cup of coffee and you choked on it. Maybe you should just concentrate on your driving. So you are responsible for his medical bills, not $5,000 for his being out of work, for his being uncomfortable, for whatever else. I don't have any proof of that. Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $2,100. Thank you. That's all.
Parties are excused. You may step out.
20-year-old student Kimberly Johnson is suing her former friend, 22-year-old retail manager Michael Birch, for bailing him out of jail when he was arrested for unpaid traffic tickets.
Ms. Johnson, according to your complaint, Mr. Birch owes you for a loan. The loan was for bail money.
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Birch says it was a nice gesture, but there was never a loan.
Yes, ma'am.
So it's up to me to find out the truth, right?
You're right.
Because I know the truth. So I have a few questions for you, Mr. Birch. What were you in jail for?
Traffic.
What, you were making traffic?
No, a ticket. Unpaid ticket.
Huh?
Unpaid ticket.
An unpaid traffic ticket? What kind of traffic tickets?
More than one.
Look, don't look down. Look over here, because, Mr. Birch, let's go back a second. How many children are in your family?
I have 2 brothers, 1 sister.
And where does your mom live?
My mom lives in Georgia.
Is she a good mom?
Yes.
You think your mother is a truth machine? Could your mother always tell when the children were telling a lie or telling the truth? She's smart?
Not all the time.
I am.
Kimberly Johnson says former friend Michael Birch owes for a loan for bail.
How long were you in jail for a traffic ticket?
Not 4 or 5 hours.
And tell me how you came to be placed in jail.
Well, there was a warrant for my arrest, which I didn't know about.
And what was the nature of your traffic infraction, sir?
Unpaid park tickets. I ran a couple lights in a hurry. Speeding, couple cases.
Now, how old were these tickets, Mr. Birch?
One was maybe a year old.
Why didn't you pay it?
Time passed by. I cut in the moment.
So I assume at some point they revoked your license.
Yes.
And when was that?
Around March.
And you continued to drive the car.
Yes.
Which you know is a crime.
Yes.
In what month were you finally stopped?
July.
Now, how do you know Miss Johnson?
Best friends for like 3 or 4 years.
How did you meet her?
I met her at the movies one night. Led to a very great relationship with her and I. Best friends for 4 years. I would say more than just a best friend relationship, as in we were like brothers, sisters.
Good. So that when you were arrested in July because you were a deadbeat with regard to these assorted violations involving your car, how many phone calls were you allowed?
I can make the phone calls out from a jail as many as I want.
How many did you make?
I made 1.
Who did you make it to?
My best friend Kim.
Did you ask her how she was feeling?
No.
Did you say, did you have a good day?
No.
Did you say, I'm in jail?
Yes.
Did you say, can you bail me out?
No.
Did she say, how can I help you?
Yes.
Now, when you called her, Mr. Birch, from jail, I want you to try to think and get into yourself, sir. What did you hope would happen?
That should be there for me like best friends are supposed to do.
But I don't need any editorializing. You called her because you wanted her to bail you out.
Yes.
Now, these weren't her parking tickets, were they?
No.
She wasn't driving with a suspended license, was she?
No.
What do you do for a living, Mr. Birch?
I work at a retail store, fashion design, clothing.
And before that, what were you doing?
I worked for Singular Wireless.
What did Miss Johnson do for a living?
Miss Johnson currently in school. She also worked at a swimming facility. She was a swim teacher.
So she was supporting herself while she was going to school and paying for school?
Yes.
What I want to know is, why would you think that somebody should spend $500 to get you out of a predicament that you got yourself into when she is supporting herself, trying to better herself by going to school, and you're doing nothing but taking care of yourself?
Well, it's not about whether she would do it. In this case, your best friends, regardless if it's she or a male, you're supposed to be there for your best friend regardless of the situation it is. In this case, and since she's a girl, I'm assuming that she is innocent. No, I didn't make her pay this money. I didn't put a gun to her head. She chose to. This is my best friend.
I want you to look at his face. Do you know how disgusted he is with you? I think it's very nice that she took out the money from her ATM, from her bank account, or wrote out money, a check from her checking account, or borrowed money from her line of credit to go down to make sure that you didn't spend more than 5 hours in jail. And the next thing that should have happened was that you go to your ATM, to your line of credit, to your checking account, take out the money and say, thanks for being there for me as my friend, and here's the money back. Don't you get that? Don't you get that? $500?
Yes, ma'am.
Judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $500, that's all.
Bodyguard Steve may step out.
Maintenance technician Joseph Trathan is suing his ex-girlfriend, inventory auditor Joelle Riffett, for the balance on a Dodge Stratus. Joelle claims the vehicle is Joseph's responsibility.
Mr. Trathan, according to your complaint, the defendant, who was your girlfriend, you have a child together, owes you for some money for a car.
Yes.
And Miss Riffett, I don't know. I tried to figure out her answer, but it was all kind of very soft. She says you agreed to assume the losses for the car when you sold it. However, we're going to ferret out the truth. When did you purchase this car along with Miss Riffett? In what year?
I co-signed, I believe, in '01.
When did you buy the car?
June of 2000.
What kind of car did you buy?
A Dodge Stratus.
It was your car.
Yes.
And he co-signed the loan because you couldn't get it without his co-signature. Is that right?
We actually were both on the loan equally. It was
Because you couldn't get it by yourself.
a lower interest that way.
Because you couldn't get it by yourself.
Yes.
And you kept the car from June of 2000 until when?
April 2004.
And what did you do with it?
Well, what happened was I left the house. I left him in October, and I tried maintaining the payments.
October of 2003.
Yes.
Okay.
So I was doing it. I had an apartment on my own, and I was trying to raise both my children, and I was having a hard time struggling making the payments because they were $330. And we had discussed it, and I asked him if he can help me out by taking the car because I can't afford it no more, so I can get a less expensive car. And the day before I gave it back to him, I called him and said, hey, Nissan called me, and they said they got a car for me for $4,500, which made my payments to be $170. Are you still willing to take it? Because I still had one more day to tell Nissan I didn't want it if he didn't agree. So he said, yeah, that's fine. We made arrangements. I dropped it off the car, and I put both sets of keys underneath the driver's seat. And after that, after I dropped it off on the 30th, I thought everything was done and fine. We were on good terms. I wasn't expecting any of this.
How much child support does he pay?
He pays me $205 now, but at the time...
Don't tap.
Okay.
$205 a what?
A week.
And how much child support do you get from the father of your other child?
$100 a week.
So you get twice that from him.
Now.
What were you getting before?
He was only giving me $100 a week.
And when did it double? Put your hand down.
September.
You're the girlfriend?
I'm the fiance, ma'am.
Fiance. We don't need you. We don't need to hear from you.
Yes, ma'am, sorry.
Good.
On September 27th, we went to court, and that's when they distinguished $205 a week.
Now, sir, Ms. Riffett says that you agreed to take... Stop shaking your head. You look like making me seasick. Ms. Riffett says that you agreed to take the car and sell it. I assume sell it. Is that right?
No.
Well, tell me what you agreed to do.
I agreed to try to help her sell the car. I talked to my neighbors, some people at work, try to get rid of the car if I could.
Well, when she told you she wanted to get rid of the car, what did you say to her?
I said I would try... Yeah, I would say I would try to help you get rid of the car if I could. If I can't, that's your responsibility. It was your car. I'm not going to take the loss.
You told her that? You told her those things?
Yes.
Yeah.
I said it's not my...
And what happened when she dropped the car off with the keys at your house?
Well, I didn't want to take on the responsibility of the extra car payment, or if I couldn't make it, going against my credit. So I gave myself like a month time limit to try to get rid of it, because my neighbor was talking to her mom about trying to buy it. And then she got a hold of me. I couldn't sell it to her, so I went to CarMax, see how much they could offer to me for it.
Why did you try to sell it privately, put an ad in the paper?
Because I didn't want to continue making the payments. And also, if she's saying she couldn't afford it, when she moved out of the house, we split the equity in the house. I gave her a $10,000 check for the equity of the house several months later, which she knew she was going to get money for that.
You shouldn't have taken the car, sir. You have to have a contract with her.
I didn't take it. She left it on me.
Not have taken the car. You should have taken it back to her with the keys and said, this is your problem, this is your car, you've had it for 4 years, I'm not doing anything with it. But once you assume the responsibility by trying to sell it and then going ahead and selling it to somebody else, you can't come back against her for the difference. You didn't have a contract with her.
I was trying to do her a favor. That's it.
That's fine. You did her a favor. You did do her a favor.
Yeah.
Then what are you bothering me for?
Because, and then she's saying she couldn't afford it, but she, gave it to me in April? That's 5 months later.
You have to have a contract with her. An agreement, oral, written. And the oral or written agreement says, if you sell the car at a loss, I will pay the difference. You didn't have that contract with her.
No, but I know I couldn't let it sit there and not have anyone make payments on it. She could give me half the money.
What happens, sir, is that after she stops making payments,
आज 18